No, you hang up, honey. No, you. Alright, fine, I'll hang up.
You listen, you little bitch. You hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish, understand?
Yes, Daddy. Scream 5 slash the Scream Reboot is moving forward. I cannot be more excited. The Scream franchise holds a very special place in my heart. I absolutely love those movies, and the fact that they're bringing them back gets me so excited. Today what we're going to be talking about is that they've landed a couple of directors that really show promise that this new Scream movie is going to be good, along with our first hint of the plot and what will actually be going down in this movie. So I need you guys to be hitting that like button down below. Scream is coming back, y'all. This isn't a drill. But comment down below your thoughts on Scream 5 and everything going on with the project so far, and if you're even excited that a new movie's coming out. Alright, so it was reported a couple of months ago that Spyglass Entertainment landed a deal where they got the IP licensing for the Scream franchise. Because of the passing away of Wes Craven, one of the original creators for Scream, his estate is now able to approve other people to making a new franchise. And then after that, it was complete silence. We didn't even know if it was going to be Scream 5, if it was going to be a whole complete reboot of the franchise and just get rid of Sydney and all the other survivors. And now with these details, I think fans are going to be very happy. For one, Discussing Films is the one who had the exclusive on this, and they're reporting that Matt Bellantine-Olpin and Tyler Gillette are the new directors for this Scream movie, and if you're not familiar with them, that's okay, but they recently did the horror movie Ready or Not. Anybody who saw Ready or Not is clapping, cheering right now, because that was a fantastic horror movie that also blended in comedy, goriness, pacing, just really one of those perfect horror movies that almost nobody saw. So if you're one of those people right now who has not seen Ready or Not and you're wondering if this new Scream movie is going to be good, go check out Ready or Not, and I think you're going to be happy with these new directors tackling on this project. Because honestly, that was the biggest worry about this new Scream movie, is that it would be the first Scream film that was not directed by Wes Craven. Wes Craven has directed 1 through 4, and I've enjoyed all of them in their own level, some more than others, but you gotta admit, he kept a consistent tone. He always made the films very good. He always put as much quality as he could in those movies, and the fact that we would get a new Scream movie just without his touch, it's something that us Scream fans are definitely gonna be missing when we watch this new movie. But getting talent like these guys really assures me that the film is in good hands. To me, this also means if these directors are attached, I would not be surprised if Samara Weaving was cast as our new Sidney Prescott, or our new Cindy Prescott-like character. The girl is perfect to be a new Scream queen, handles horror very well, so if she's our new head of this franchise, I'd be happy with that, but I know still they'll pick someone great to go along with it. But aside now from knowing that these directors are attached, we have our first hint of the plot, and it sounds kind of basic. Discussing Films goes ahead and says, plot details are scarce, but sources say it will follow a woman returning to her hometown to try to find out who's been committing a series of vicious crimes. Honestly, that plot could go with any horror movie today. It doesn't sound very Screamish, but at the same time, it's a woman trying to solve a bunch of crimes in her town that have to deal with a guy wearing the Ghostface mask. At least you better have the Ghostface mask. Don't do me like the MTV Scream show that is still pretty good, at least the first 2 seasons. But even reading that plot, longtime Scream fans might start to get a little worried because it's sounding more and more like the original cast members are just not coming back and they're gonna start something entirely new. Well, breaking down a little further to what this could mean, it doesn't mean that we're not getting Scream 5. I still think this will technically be Scream 5, it just will not be titled Scream 5. A quick lesson in movie making and how movies are now marketed: if you put your number in the title of the movie, statistically it's said that it'll earn less and less money, unless you're just the Fast and Furious franchise and you can put the number 24 on there and still make $1 billion. But most movies out there, after a long period of time of not having a sequel, and they make a new movie even if it's connected to the old franchise, will not continue to number the films. This could be one of the first Scream movies that has a tagline attached to it, something like "Scream if you're watching," or "No one will hear you scream." I don't know, something cheesy like that, but because of the way marketing works today, it will not be titled Scream 5. Still, that does not mean we won't get Sidney Prescott, Dewey, and Gale Weathers showing up in this movie. It could still be a very connected universe where they sort of do a Force Awakens thing where they bring in old characters, but they introduce new ones to carry on the franchise. I just don't think it's a Scream movie unless you bring in the original 3. We could have Sidney Prescott sort of mentor this new girl, or maybe she investigates the crimes herself along with this other new person. Still, I wouldn't be surprised if the estate of Wes Craven has it in their contract that you can't touch his old movies just because they're perfect. And so they're probably only required to start up new movies and bring Ghostface for a new generation. Now, there's always a theme in these Scream movies where they're sort of making fun of modern day horror movies, or they're very meta where they're self-aware. It's like, yes, we're trying to be a horror movie, but we're a horror movie within a horror movie. And Scream 4 already did the thing where they make fun of horror movie reboots and remakes, and that still seems to be the thing they're doing right now. I think the thing that they could make fun of is these horror reboot sequels that are now becoming popular. Like with the Halloween franchise, that is a reboot but also a sequel. Then we have the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that'll be a reboot but a sequel. It's becoming a more common thing where you erase things from history and start fresh. I think that would be the thing to do in this new Scream franchise, where maybe they retcon some things like in Scream 3 that wasn't all that much well loved, or they might ignore a sequel or two here and start making fun of that while also being a horror movie. But the most important part is I wanted your guys' input on Scream 5, so I asked you guys on Twitter to let me know your thoughts about this news, and here's what some of you had to say. I loved Ready or Not, and I think the director of Ready or Not are a great choice to take over the legendary Wes Craven. I'm game. Agreed, man. This is a person who has seen Ready or Not, and they know that they can handle a good horror comedy that's more horror than comedy. Gordy Miller says, I'm super excited. I just hope they get it right and bring in modern elements. I really hope they don't use cell phones in out of touch way, but I have faith. That's one thing I'm super afraid of, because cell phones are kind of like a vital part of the Scream franchise where you bring them in and use them, voice changers. Now with all our technology, it's just so wild what is possible. If he has a Scream app or something like that, it'll just take me away. Keep it realistic and grounded, but we'll see how they handle cell phones in this movie. 53xPoo says, I don't think we really need another Scream. Maybe a new interpretation, possibly. I understand that. We technically got a new interpretation with the Scream MTV TV series, and I thought that was a really well rendition, at least the first two seasons, even if they didn't have the iconic Ghostface mask. It's on Netflix, guys. I still highly recommend you check out the first two seasons of that Scream TV series, because I found it as a nice new interpretation. Nick Lander 2020 Mood says, I'm 85% certain that they will keep Neve Campbell's, that's Sidney Prescott, appearance a secret till the movie hits. Have the movie begin with a high schooler trying to find a serial killer who kills its victims and reenact scenes from classic horror movies, and part of her search leading to Sidney. I would love that, man. You know that's something that they're going to incorporate. Maybe this new person is just recreating the movie, so it's an actual remake slash reboot of the franchise. So much cool things you could do with this. Batman Guy 05 says, I really want to see a new one. The first one was pure perfection. I hope they don't screw this up. Yeah, they better not screw this up, man, because I love Scream. And the last two movies, I really like Scream 4. Scream 3 let me down, but they were on the scale of heading down, so I hope this one brings it back up. We have That Guy Ted says, I hope it isn't meta, like the movies in a movie within a movie. That's kind of what I was suggesting here to go with. Maybe it is too cliche. That's why I'm a YouTuber and I don't make movies. Sad face. But yeah, I guess there is a point where it goes way too meta, where it's like a meta on top of meta, where you do Inception on meta, and it just doesn't work. For some of you out there, because I sometimes get asked, what does meta mean? It's just where you're self-aware, where they know what they're doing. They're trying to be almost like a parody, just not completely spoofing it or making fun of it like the Scary Movie franchise. I think there is a perfect level of meta to go with, and I think they're going to find it with these new guys. Aaron Bondi says, my thoughts are they should maybe consider incorporating people from the TV show, especially the first two seasons, went through a sort of reboot with a different cast. You know what? I would love for those people in the MTV series, at least the first two seasons, to get some recognition, because I thought they did a great job. But for the same reason I think that they won't call it Scream 5 is the same reason they won't bring in people from the TV series. You just start limiting your audience, and if people start noticing that, oh, do I have to watch this TV show to watch this movie? Never mind, I don't want to watch this. So as much as we would like some love for those people on the TV series, there's no way they're going to incorporate them into the new movie, sadly. Horror and Stuff says, how can they bring Ghostface into the modern era without being political about it? I mean, they didn't do a good job with the third season of the TV show. Yeah, the third season of that TV show was complete garbage in my opinion. If some people out there liked it, I'm happy for you, but I was very disappointed with it, and I had high hopes, even though it was going to be a reboot. But there is something to be said that with this meta commentary, sometimes you bring in politics. I don't mind politics in movies. It's just when they get over preachy, where where I'm like, all right, I could have done without this. I came to the theater to escape, not to be reminded of the horrors of the real world. To go with that, I can see Scream 5 being a victim of woke culture, you know, people who make those dang woke videos on these movies. But if you look at the Scream franchise, it has always been about being woke, and it has always been about self-aware and what's new. So expect different characters. We could have a trans character, we could have other characters. It's not going to bother me. It's what real world is right now. Just don't be too preachy about it. But now I'll pass it off to you guys. How do you feel about these directors attached to Scream 5? What do you think of the plot so far? It's going to evolve more. Right now it just sounds very basic. Are you guys excited for Scream 5? What do you think the actual title will be? Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.